Dead Candy. Dedicated entertainment for the dead.
Spoiler alert, Slash's Paradise encourages viewers to watch these horror films before listening to our show. Danny and Lance will go through everything, including filmmaking, dialogue, characters, and even full scene breakdowns when we get excited. Enjoy the show.
Hello! You've reached Town Video. After hours. For store hours, please press 1. For the horror movie recommendation of the week, please press 2. For the slash word of the night, please press 3. For all other recommend, you've selected the slash word of the night. Tonight's slash word is wolf.
Oh, it's a book.
It's a movie.
It's
a movie.
It's
called Teen Wolf.
Wolf.
We're back, baby.
We're back. It's the 50th episode of Slasher's Paradise.
This town needs a 50th episode.
That's Danny, and I'm Lance, and welcome back to the Paradise. Today we were talking about something we've been hinting at for the last 5 episodes. If you haven't been paying attention, please go back and watch. Danny, it's time. Something we've talked about, we've wanted to do since the beginning.
This is, God damn it. This is
God damn it.
This is a long time coming, folks. If you believe in slow burns or Saltburn the movie, no, but if you believe in slow burns, like I think make a very good form of cinema if you can pay it off in the end. If you believe in that sort of soft hint here and there, and then eventually a massive badass payoff, that's what we're going to try to bring to you today in the 50th episode of Slash's Paradise with what we have been planting the seeds all along. God bless it. Here we are with Teen Wolf.
Wolf. It's good.
It's good. It's good. Wow. The intricacies of that callback is phenomenal.
I didn't plan it at all. No, not at all. No, I didn't plan that at all. This is a movie that we've talked about from the beginning, but it's something that we've talked about over the time of Slash's Paradise. Is it a horror film? Do we want to do a movie that's not considered a horror film? And I think we're going to make a case that it could be a horror film.
It definitely could be a horror film, and we're definitely going to get into it. But I want to say that if you have been listening to the episodes, that is definitely one thing, and we appreciate you all being fans and listening. We hear all the comments, we see all the suggestions. We're going to get to that because we love it. We absolutely love being here in the Paradise. But if you've been watching the episodes, you will see that our man here, Michael J. Fox, as the Teen Wolf, has just been here. He's been here the whole time.
Absolutely.
He's been in the Paradise. He's been trying to show us his chest, and he's just trying to get there. Lance is showing... Okay, let's go really quick over the attire because... First of all, not the attire. I got to talk about the Paradise really quick. The Paradise has gone over a little bit of a makeover, just a tiny bit, but we do still have the intricacies of what makes it crisp. But... look at these awesome colors and the celebration. We've got the ribbons, we've got the balloons, but screw all that shit. Let's talk about the fact that Lance is wearing a Letterman jacket. Lance, did you buy a Letterman jacket for the Beavers, or can you talk to us about this amazing coincidence.
Yeah, this is my actual high school Letterman jacket. I forgot that I had it until we decided to make this episode. Just so happens to be the same colors as the Beavers, which is from Nebraska. Do they ever mention a city in this movie?
I can't remember.
I don't think they do, but
No.
yeah. So I'm sporting the Letterman's jacket. It is a basketball varsity jacket. So I don't know if you saw the back, Danny.
We're gonna need to see the back. Go ahead, Lance.
Oh man! All right,
Look, it's got. Wait, what was your mascot? The Thunderbirds? Oh, look at that knight. Look! Oh my God, the silhouette. Screw you, Jerry West. We got the real logo for the NBA.
That's right.
Goodness.
Yeah, we're the Thunderbirds, but we're not the Beavers.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, I'm sporting that. The Teen Wolf shirt. Let's go.
I went
Danny?
ahead and decided to lean right into my personality that I think I have been hinting at, Lance, for a very long time. But I think what needs to happen is that you just need to know who you are and just really lean into that. So the fact is, folks, yes, coincidentally, the character in the movie Styles does do a lot of vibrant colors, and he's got like a Hawaiian shirt over some stuff, and I've done things like that layers in the past, but we are talking about the Paradise. It's fun to be in fun little Hawaiian get-ups, but I mean, look, I'm just going to push this table back just a little bit because I'm not just wearing a hat. I'm talking about the fact that, look at that. Those are real cowboy boots because, folks, I am the self-proclaimed Halloween cowboy. That is a brand that I want to dive deep into. So coincidentally, I think it's actually cool that I can pay homage to Styles.
Absolutely.
At the same time, you're going to see a lot more of this Halloween cowboy slashers paradise get up.
It's
because
coming.
it's very, very comfortable. And that's what's going on. That's who I am today.
That's just who you are always, Danny. It's
I
just
love it.
coming out finally. And that's what the Slashers Paradise was actually all based on. We've discussed this before. Where we got the idea for Slashers Paradise, and it was literally Danny sitting down wearing a Hawaiian shirt in October. I thought it was brilliant. But today we're talking about Teen Wolf. We've got some business to take care of. If you listened to the episode before, you know that. We know that people are listening to the episode. We've gotten a lot of requests, and we will get to requests. We've had a lot of people asking, when's the next episode? This is it. Teen Wolf, the 50th episode. I'm going to do one more little... Yeah.
I love it, Lance. I think it's an amazing celebration because what an undertaking, first of all. And I'm not going to get sappy. I promise you.
Oh, here come the
I swear
tears.
I'm not. It's going to be very
Waterworks.
good. But I'm going to tell you this. We are now in our 4th year of doing this endeavor, and we have started this a very long time ago. And what a journey it's been. I'm excited that we are here on our 50th episode, but I cannot be more excited to continue the work with my buddy here and this Slashers Paradise amazing adventure. Here's to 50. Cheers. And
Cheers.
Here's to 100 and
Hey, coming soon.
many more down the road. You obviously know, folks, that we are not sipping on any sort of bullshit. We are sipping on that blended Canadian.
Like always. We've always got a bottle ready just for Danny here.
Oh, you got to. So, yeah, I think that this episode is going to be a little bit robust. I think that our listeners,
Robust?
I think it's going to be robust because we got a lot that we want to talk about. We got to highlight the fact that we are here in the 50th episode for Slashers Paradise, an undertaking that we jumped into together, and it's been an amazing ride. But nonetheless, folks, this was organic. I am not going to sit here and insult anyone else's intelligence. This was completely organic. When Lance said we have a 50th episode coming up, what should we do? When I hit him with the Teen Wolf, I honestly don't think that we were like, for 50, we'll do Teen Wolf and we'll get him. It was just like, oh, we've been planting these seeds. Let's do it. So, as the man said in the past, ain't no way to do it but to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's do it.
Again, even more sickening about this is the fact that our last 5 episodes kind of spanned over the last 4 years, which is really cool and special. You can see different versions if you do watch it on YouTube and coming to Spotify. But it's kind of funny how it just all wrapped up, and here we are for the 50th, for Teen Wolf. We've talked about it so much. Is it a horror film? Can it fit into the horror world? Absolutely. It's werewolves.
Okay, so
Period.
Yeah, no, honestly, period. Honestly.
Yeah.
But let's stop bullshitting each other, all right? Because I don't want any bullshit, okay? But let's bring on the bullshit really quick.
Okay.
The fact is, I think there are scary elements in a lot of movies out there, and you can make the argument. You could say, ooh, I agreed with like 70% of this movie, 80% of this movie made me laugh, but then I got to that one part, it was terrifying. Case in point, I mean, we could do a whole episode about like what other movies fall into this category, but like I'm just going to give you an example. Okay. If you've seen like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the clown scene is absolutely nightmare fuel. So the point is, you have a premise here, a premise of a movie that centers around I guess for me, quintessential monster movie. I love the Wolfman. That is my favorite classic Universal monster. The Wolfman is my favorite. I've always enjoyed I don't know, maybe it's because I'm from the ranch and there's coyotes out there and animals, and I'm just like, I can relate, I just, not to say that, Dracula and a vampire and bats, it's not a vampire.
Yeah, but you've heard the howls in the night distance.
Thank you very much. I think that's what it is, honestly. And you know what? I mean, God, a wolf is just cool looking, man. Just like he's a wolf. You don't want to mess with him. It can be.
Unless it's Silver Bullet.
Oh! Wow!
Been there. Okay, we've talked about that already, but just saying.
Insert R2-D2 scream.
Perfect.
I'm just saying. Go back and listen to how much I love Silver Bullet in our Silver Bullet episode. But what I'm saying here is like, you have a premise. Here's a movie, and we'll get into the pumpkin spice and all that good stuff later.
Yeah.
Or very soon. But it's a werewolf movie. Werewolves are not, it's not kiddie stuff. This is a
classic monster.
Thank you. So by those guidelines, by those principles, yes, it can be considered a horror movie. It can be considered a spooky movie. When people say, it's October, I can't wait to get my spooky on, and they're putting on like Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus, I don't shame them. I'm like, that's your shit, right? It's the mild level boneless wings or wings flavor. Fine. I can get down on some nuggets. You know what I'm saying? But this, at the very base of it, is centered around a werewolf story. It meets the criteria, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I don't know if we'll make this case, but I'll just say it right now that I think these characters could easily shift into a horror movie.
Oh, hell yeah.
But we got business to take care of. We have something here that we play. We like to play. We like to have people drink along with us because we are drinking our Canadian whiskey today. The game is called Slash Word. Danny, how does Slash Word work?
Oh, this has been a long time coming, and I'm so excited to talk about the Slasher's Paradise fun game called Slash Word. Kind of like the popular game Pathword, wherein when you hear the slash word said throughout the episode, take a drink of your beverage of choice. It can be alcoholic or it can be non-alcoholic. Doesn't actually matter. We just ask that you have fun and play along to Slash Word here in the Slasher's Paradise.
Should we have a guest today, or are we going through Horrortown video for our Slash Word?
We should do Horrortown video. I do.
All right. That was at the beginning of the episode then. So drink along with us every time you hear the Slash Word, and away we go. We have something else here called the Pumpkin Spice Latte, which is Danny's basic breakdown of whatever film that we are breaking down. So Danny, for Teen Wolf, what is the Pumpkin Spiced Latte?
Give it to me. Pumpkin Spice Latte, Teen Wolf by Daddy Sauce. A normal teen in high school goes through changes, but is surprised to realize that the changes he is going through are unlike anyone else's because he is inheriting a family trait known as werewolfism. Is he going to be able to navigate the already tumultuous times as a teenager in high school, in addition to also transforming into a werewolf? Are his friends going to be allies in this fight? you will see in Teen Wolf.
All right, that's Danny's pumpkin spice latte. Here's a basic breakdown of the film. It was released in August 23rd, 1985. Budget of $4 million. Box office for the actual theater was $33 million. Total box office was $80 million. The film stars Michael J. Fox, James Hampton, Scott Pollan, Susan Urcidi.
Nailed it.
Thank you. Jerry Levine, Jay Tarsis, and our honorable mention is Mark Holton, who we've talked about before from Leprechaun. And away we go for Teen Wolf.
Let's just talk about the fact, Lance, that you threw out some facts there. There are some facts that are just circling around that we obviously just gotta like deal with right here and there. The fact is, this movie was released in 1985. Whether it was shot before that and or delayed or not remains to be a mystery, perhaps. But we do know for sure that this movie was delayed in the spring of 1985, which is when they wanted to actually release it. They actually delayed it to August. Why, Lance? Why?
So Michael J. Fox was actually becoming a huge star in the middle of the production of Teen Wolf, and that is kind of why they actually had a few scenes where the extras, I don't know if you read this,
I didn't.
There's some female extras that were cheering every time that he was on set because his show
Family Ties,
thank you very much, was blowing up. They had just kind of shifted the time slot of that to like a major night, so he was becoming a huge star, and he was in the middle of the production of Back to the Future. So Teen Wolf hit a little bit of a delay. It actually came out 6 weeks after Back to the Future. Teen Wolf's opening was number 2 to Back to the Future. So Michael J. Fox was the star of summer 1985.
Good Lord. Can you imagine being on that trajectory?
Within, it's probably 6-7 months. The fact about this is that it was kind of filmed at the end of 1984. Danny kind of alluded to something. There was an old fact that I read that I can't find anymore, that the movie had actually been filmed a couple years prior, and it was on hold. I can't find that anymore, so there's no proof to that, but Danny did allude to it, so I get to mention it.
You do get to mention it. It's like that, the Sinbad thing.
Oh, yes,
was he in a movie called Kazam? And it's like, I forget what the term is, but it's like they scrubbed it, and it's like...
The butterfly effect? No, that's
no,
not
it's...
the butterfly effect.
It's like... gaslighting in a way. They're just trying to make you believe that it never happened. It never, was a thing. But Lance, if you read it, stuff like that happens all the time. They shoot movies, they finish movies, they cut them, and it's all great, and they just can't find a normal or a perfect way to release them. So I honestly don't think that is as far-fetched as some other people might think. But let's just be real here. If you're an actor and you're Michael J. Fox, and your 1985 is the year that you can just you can do whatever you want. Like, honestly, you are the shit. And it really just never gets better than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope someone it's hard, right? Because obviously hindsight's 2020. I hope someone in 1985 was like, hey, listen, God bless it. This is not normal. What you're going through right now is, and then, he did obviously Back to the Future 2, and he did a lot of obviously other stuff after that. Michael J. Fox is like one of the, my favorite actors of all time. He's just a great human being, period. But how do you know? How do you know that what you're experiencing is like once in a lifetime?
Right. Like, I can't imagine being like, oh, this is it. Like, everything that I'm doing, I want to be an actor. This is blowing up now. And I think that's just such a huge thing for him. And listen, like, Teen Wolf is such a small scale movie compared to Back to the Future. And it's funny because that leads into an interesting fact. Because Back to the Future was so huge at that time, other countries actually use Back to the Future to promote Teen Wolf, which is maybe why it was such a success, going from a $4 million budget to 80 million overall box office throughout the world. They actually called it, I'm not going to say...
Something futuro.
Yeah.
It's Portuguese.
Which translates to Future Boy or Boy of the Future. So they were literally promoting this almost as in the same world as Back to the Future. And that's where this movie was. Like, we don't know how to promote this, but it's Michael J. Fox the same year as Back to the Future, which is a massive success and huge money. And so that's how we're going to promote it. And that's how we're going to make money off of it. That was not the intention of anyone that was a part of this film.
Can you imagine, though, if you're just a cinema-loving moviegoer in old Brazil and
or Italy as well.
That too. You're in these areas, these countries where they are promoting this movie as Boy of the Future. You're thinking, holy shit, they have made a sequel to Back to the Future in record time. And you just go to watch Teen Wolf and you're just waiting for him to get into the DeLorean the whole time.
There's no...
And he doesn't get in the DeLorean.
There's no travel here. None.
He just transforms into a fucking werewolf. Can you imagine?
Yes.
How confused these people were? Okay. Oh, that must have been a trip. I love that fact. I love the fact that they were like, we don't know how to promote this, but people love Back to the Future. Future Boy, come see it.
Yeah, why not?
Alive. Come see it.
Even the filmmakers thought this would not be a success. They actually saw like a matinee of the film. I think the day it opened, there was 4 people in the theater. And then they went back into a college town and it was completely sold out. Like, people did want to watch this. This was a very, very 80s movie. And I think we got to dive into it.
God bless the 80s. Let's dive into it really quick, Lance, by hitting the thing that like everyone can see at face value. Let's talk about the poster for 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
The poster here, folks, moviegoers today and probably for, I guess, the early to mid 2000s, there was a transition in posters for movies. And it was like, put all the stars of the movie on the poster and like the Michael Myers mask.
The Michael Myers.
Yeah, the Michael Myers. Are you going to go see the Michael Myers? Get out of the water heater. Anyway, this is and should look like, to the naked eye, a photo of Michael J. Fox as the Teen Wolf. This is actually, it looks painted, as a matter of fact, because this is what happened. The Jaws poster, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. A lot of these classic posters were hand drawn and painted, even though they look super realistic. They were not photos; they were actual drawings and actual paintings. There was an art form to this, and I honestly do think we are looking. Yes, we are looking at one in the Michael J. Fox one here. And let's talk about the tagline right off the bat. He always wanted to be special, but he never expected. What does that say? This. Yes. Underlined as well. That's the tagline. I want to do an entirely different episode down the road about taglines. I love taglines. I think one of our fans or one of our listeners brought up the fact that the tagline for Killer Clowns from Outer Space is, "It's crazy." Like, that's it. What we have here, he always wanted to be special, but he never expected this Teen Wolf. And it's just, he looks like he's accepting it, right? He's pulling his shirt open. That chest hair is bursting. He's got the hair on his arms and stuff. He's wearing the Letterman jacket. A lot of layers. We do know something about Michael J. Fox. He does well in layers, because Back to the Future, he's got multiple layers. He does not skimp on that in Teen Wolf at all. But I look at this poster, I see an inviting face. He's, if I'm at this point, I've already seen Back to the Future. I'm like, I like Michael J. Fox. He's an okay guy. I'm going to go watch this. And it's obviously a werewolf movie. This is my type of movie. This is my type of go to the cinema situation. It's blending the two realities that I like, where it's like fish out of water, right? This is a guy, this is a boy. Well, yes, in the movie, he's a teen who's just trying to be a high school teen and is turning into a werewolf. How ridiculous is that? I want to go watch.
It's funny because, okay, so the movie takes place in Nebraska, but you mentioned his clothing options here. They actually wanted him to dress more like a Spicoli.
Yeah.
There it is. Which is actually how kind of styles.
There's no birthday party for me in here.
This is Nebraska. I can't imagine like a Spicoli in Nebraska, like a surfer kid, you know. And then they kind of saw how he was dressed. Like, you know what? We're good. We'll leave him at that.
Saturday night in Nebraska, ladies and gentlemen, Korn. Have you seen those?
The band?
Okay, so damn it.
Sorry.
So those of you that know, if you know, you know. But like, do you remember? It is anytime there's the host for Saturday Night Live, they'll introduce the band, right?
Right.
So there's one clip, and there's a whole Twitter account of it, and it's called "Ladies and Gentlemen, The Weeknd," because it's just Daniel Craig introducing The Weeknd, the performer, and he's going, "Ladies and gentlemen, The Weeknd," and it's they put it on. They post a clip of that every Friday. And it's great because it's like it gets you there, right? But then it was like Friday, you're in Nebraska, and it took I forget who the host is, but they're like, "Ladies and gentlemen, corn," because that's what Nebraska is. It's corn.
It's corn.
I love it. It was funny to me, I guess. Well, here we are.
Play the womp womp womp.
You never know what's gonna get people going. So that was funny for some folks.
All right, something I want to talk about in this film is how I feel like it's such a complete film.
Yes.
It takes its time with a lot of the characters, especially Michael J. Fox's Scott Howard. There's a scene in the beginning that it's him going to see his dad at the hardware store, and there's something that's just so realistic and grounded.
Oh, yes.
About just that scene of just him working for his dad. You've already kind of established that, you know, it's a small town kid that wants something bigger and better. He wants to be accepted. He's kind of an awkward kid.
I think a lot of folks can relate to that if they grew up in a small town, or they grew up in an area or a situation that they just wanted to like go do something else from it, right? Yeah. I can see that scene of him going after school to his dad's hardware store. It's not as carbon cut of a like, I went through the same thing, but like there were multiple times where I would, my mom was a principal. I'd go to to her office, and she was closing up for the day, and like, it's like, hey, my mom's a principal. Y'all can't touch me or whatever, right? Or it's like if we're working at the ranch, and it's like the day that like I get to help out my dad and stuff like that. It's like this is our parents' journey. It's not necessarily going to be our journey, but a bit of a self-discovery and stuff like that that's happening. Of course, he's thrust into a situation because there's a stupid little kid who's got a dog whistle and is just going nuts on it. And if y'all know anything about dog whistles, it's like you really can't hear them if you're a person. But he's blowing the shit out of this dog whistle, and it's killing Scott. Michael J. Fox's character, it's killing him because he's transforming into a werewolf. He doesn't know it at the time, but he's transforming. But I do love what you bring up, Lance, about that sort of like, it's a bit of a sleepy town. I mean, hell, it's in Nebraska, man. Is Nebraska a sleepy state? I don't want to talk shit about Nebraska. I've never been. But like, it's a simpler sort of surroundings. There's a lot of farmland. I mean, heavy corn. That's not just a joke. It's like, that's one of their big deals. But like, you're going to see that there's like this like main drag of a town multiple times where like, oh, that looks simple. It's weird. I'm going to tell you something real quick. It is weird because like the whole time you're coming up in these small towns, you go and you're like, I want something else. I want to go out there. I want to go beyond the trees, and I want to see what else is out there because I'm that ambitious. Yeah. And sometimes, this might be a little bit of therapy, but sometimes I do kind of think, God, if I wasn't as ambitious, this would have been just fine, just being like here. And maybe I want to own a hardware store in a main drag in a town of 7 people, maybe. Yeah, but
it's kind of funny that you mentioned that. I've been talking about that lately. Like, all of a sudden I want to go back to this, not my small town, but a different small town, and
kind of feeling, I suppose, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I want a big city, now I want small town again.
Maybe it's community. Maybe it's the fact that like now that we're here in these big cities and stuff, it's like everyone is going everywhere at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and it's like you knew the people that you grew up with, you knew the people that were in your neighborhood, and you can just be like, oh, that's that person, and these are their kids and stuff like that. But because it was like, this is all we knew, and then we saw movies, it was like, look at all this world that's happening, and then we jumped at it. But there's something so sweet about owning a hardware store, and like you kind of see Howard's future. He's owning a small hardware store, and Home Depot, is going to come in and, be off the freeway or some shit and ruin Howard's hardware. But, I love that. I love that scene because it just kind of like it cements the surroundings.
Yeah, I think I said grounding.
Yeah.
It just feels real. It feels like something you can actually connect to. You've seen before. Like Danny kind of said, it's like the Ace Hardware kind of comes in and buys it out. It's like, yeah, you can still have your hardware store, but now it's got to be Ace. But yeah, I enjoyed that scene a lot. And then especially the kid blowing the dog whistle. It's broken.
Do you see the way that Scott takes the dog whistle from this kid? No, he hits him in the back of the head to make him spit it out.
He gets it out of his head. I think it's so funny. He spits it out perfectly. But the kid, it's always stuck in my head. I've actually said this a few times. People have no idea what I'm talking about because, listen, we are here to educate. People do not talk about Teen Wolf enough.
No.
We're obviously fans of it.
Yes.
Big spoiler alert for the end. We are fans of the film. But yeah, I say this a lot too, and I lisp it specifically for this kid. It's broken. I think it's hilarious. It makes me laugh every time. I use it in my daily life.
Well, because look, this is definitely for the benefit. I'm going to try and articulate it audibly as best I can, but this is definitely for the benefit of the folks who are watching. Listen, when he gets to this kid, hits him in the back of the head to make the kid spit out the dog whistle. The kid doesn't even be like, "Hey, fuckface, stop hitting me." He doesn't do that. What he does is he just kind of like shifts over and looks at him like he's on like a spin chair or something. He goes, "It's broken." And then the same energy just spins away and takes off. Like, just kind of like, I'm accepting the fact that I was blowing this dog whistle. A man came up to me, hit me in the head. It's broken. I don't give a shit. I'm going on with my day.
It's almost like the kid was complaining.
Yeah.
Like, it's broken.
It's broken. Come fix your shit. This is why Home Depot is coming in. But let me also, like, I love that scene for its simplicity and the stuff, and I got to jump into another scene that I absolutely love. Okay. Lance, I don't want to talk a bunch of shit. But there is, and if any of my high school friends are listening to this episode, thank you all so much. I love you all. Thank you very much for supporting. In high school, I tried to be Styles.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, I definitely tried to be the life of the party, the guy who got the party going. Because sometimes, let's just talk about it. First of all, you would throw a party, Lance, right?
Right.
Let's say you threw the party. Let's say you actually went to a party. Actually, you don't even have to be throwing it. You would go to these parties and... like they illustrated sometimes in movies like with dances and stuff, like the boys are on one side, the girls are on the other side, and nobody's really going. All the elements are here. We got the punch, we got the spread, we got all the characters are here. Everybody's here who should be having a good time. The music is bumping, you're playing Coolio or whatever the hell, and nothing's happening. Yeah. So you need the catalyst. And I knew a long time ago that I was going to be the catalyst for these parties. So as you can see, when you watch this movie, Styles is the guy. He's the guy that's got things going. No, did I have hustling sort of initiatives on the side where I was like taking bets for the high school, basketball games? No, but I was the guy who was like, hey, if we're going to have a party, just make sure that these things are here so that we can have a good time. I was that guy. And then when it got there, it only takes one person to say, let's play Spin the Bottle. It really does, because everybody wants to fucking play it. Everybody wants to kiss. Everybody wants... You're going through emotions, There's things changing within you. You want to play. You just need the one person who's going to take the bullet, because... If you are the person that suggests, hey, let's play Truth or Dare, let's play Spin the Bottle, you're waiting for the one person to be like, all you want to do is make out. I'm like, sorry, I know who I am. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw this movie and I was like, I don't identify with a lot of these characters. I definitely identify with Styles because he gets shit going. He's throwing the parties and he's the maestro of this house party. Which I love.
He is, but here's the realism that comes with it. And I think it's what makes this movie really, really good is that Styles shows up originally. Remember, there's a whole scene about getting a keg of beer, and it's hilarious, and we'll get back to it. But he finally gets the keg of beer. He shows up to the party, and it's like, yeah, why don't you go ahead and put it over there with the rest? It's like he's never quite on top, but then he makes himself the catalyst of the party, which is so cool and so realistic. You know what I mean? Like any movie will just go like, yeah, he's the life of the party, and he's the guy. But he's not, you know?
Okay.
He's not quite there.
But it's not a pushback, but let me just say, Styles, I am Styles. Like, I'm going to go ahead and say it because I just went to my high school, my 20-year reunion, right? And everybody's in the situation, right? They've got their lives that they have, created in these 20 years. Everybody's kind of like sitting around. And the fact of the matter is, I hosted the pep rallies when I was in high school, right? I'm the guy that's like, oh, y'all need something said? Give me the phone. Give me the microphone. I don't care. I'm going to do it. Obviously, right? Not much changes. Those guys that are in the kitchen and they're like drinking, they're like, yeah, just put it over there with the rest of them. That's them not being able to be the Styles. So they're trying to assert their dominance in one way. So Styles is like, damn, I try to be like conforming to the rules and bring this keg. I thought I was going to be the savior, but nobody can have all the power. You can't be the guy who brings the keg and also like and also the catalyst of the party. Like what? He's also got like a 7-inch dong too. Like what? Like he can't be everything.
I think it just went with those characters, him, Scott, and then his like second.
You got Boof. You got
not Boof. His
Alan.
Alan. Thank you, Alan.
Their little crew, their little motley crew. I wanted to be a part of that fucking club.
But that's like the second tier crew. You know what I mean? They're not like the popular kids. They want to be, but they're not quite there. Alan's kind of like very quiet, just kind of along for the ride. But Styles and Scott want something bigger. And Styles knows how to get there. He just is just a notch down. You know what I mean? But he puts himself there.
He does put himself there, but he also has...
He's an opportunist.
He's self-aware, and his self-esteem is very high.
Very high.
That dude, and that's where him and I... that's where him and I kind of differ. Because in high school, I'd be going a mile a minute, and somebody's like, you're fat. Damn it. Nobody, that wouldn't happen. But I'm just trying to say is like he created and I think a lot of people wanted to be the Styles of their crew.
Yeah.
And even if they were and like had the same like I don't know tendencies as Styles, you're either Styles or you're not.
Yeah.
You're either a leader or you're not a leader. You're either the life of the party and you can do things like, hey, we got a game here. You and you. I got a bowl of Jell-O, and you have to eat this whole bowl of Jell-O. It's like, all right, yeah, that's easy enough. And what do you have to do? Hold the Jell-O, and then he pours the Jell-O down the top. And it's like you have to have those tendencies. You have to be quick with it. I'm not going to talk to you all about all the parties that I threw and like what kind of games I got going. Just I'm going to let you know that people had fun at my parties.
But the awareness, he hooks up his friends in that situation. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, dude. That was better than me hooking up when I was coming up. That was way better. If I knew that person and that person liked each other and they were so quiet and all they needed was a little push, trust me, and I'm pretty sure that they hated me for it, but then they ended up loving me for it because they get into the closet and your fingernails or no, but they fix it. They fixed the situation because they're like, all we needed was somebody to get us in place. And I swear to God, folks, we'll get to the scary elements of this movie pretty soon. We've got to talk about the good stuff.
Exactly.
Not that it's all not good.
No, but we're talking about their little crew. I don't want to talk about Boof. And we're going to have a whole breakdown about, were you a Boof? Kind of guy? Or were you...
Pamela?
Pamela, yeah.
Yeah. So are you Team Boof, Team Pamela? Are you, it is Pamela, isn't it, right? Yeah. Let's just make sure. Because, but maybe we're illustrating the point here. The fact that we have to go in here and look up the fact that the other character's name is Pamela, maybe is illustrating which team we are on. Look, Boof. Let's go into Boof, and then we'll describe the character Pamela, and we'll let the audience decide. I'm sure this is pretty much geared towards the... a specific person or a specific demographic, but we'll try our best.
Yes. So Boof is into Scott.
Yes.
Boof is very like along the lines of hometown girl, cute, but not like overly like I don't want to take anything away from Boof
No, I don't
when
either,
I describe
but,
her, but hometown girl.
Yeah, modest,
Okay.
demure,
Oh God.
very,
Way to keep us modern, Dan.
very modest, very demure, very mindful. She is. No, that's true. Like Boof is not gaudy or vivacious. We're
Okay.
I was told there would be no literary test today, but
Okay, in comparison, we have Pamela, who is the blonde, popular,
bombshell.
yeah, the bombshell of the high school, the popular girl, the one that's the girl, right? Like, there's the one girl, and there's probably the one guy in high school. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm doing goalposts.
You got the one girl, the blonde bombshell, and she doesn't have to be blonde, but it's usually like the one that's like can be on the Playboy cover. Let's just be honest, or be on the cover of Vogue. And then you got like the jock, really like ripped, kind of Danny Gonzalez sort of style of. Yeah. No, but the truth is like the jock who's like, usually his name is like Chance or Terrence, and he's got his family has a boathouse, and he drives a Maserati. I don't know.
What'd you say? Trance?
Chance or
Chance.
Terrence.
Okay.
It's about what camp are you a part of, right?
Mm.
What crew did you run with? What circle would you be more gravitated towards? I think me and Lance kind of already answered that question.
Yeah, I was definitely more into the Boof.
We're not just pulling out the two main female characters and putting them against each other for any reason. The fact is, Scott is in between these two. He's pulled in these two directions. Boof is Scott's childhood best friend. It's a beautiful friendship. It's a beautiful relationship that they have. And as they've grown older, Boof has developed some more than friend feelings for Scott, and he, because he's got this I want something more than the hardware store, I want something else, I always wanted to be special, is looking around and saying like, yeah, Boof, I've known Boof my whole life, and that's my path, that's my natural path to be with Boof.
Yes.
But he wants to shoot for. He wants to win in the end, So he
shoot for the stars.
He wants to shoot for the stars, and in this case, go for someone who's a little bit unattainable for him.
Yeah.
So he goes after Pamela, who cannot be bothered with his existence, does not want to give him the time of day. But that's it. That's the reason we ask, "What camp are you in?" It's kind of team Jacob, team Edward, right? It's a little. Ish, but it's like, what's your flavor? What's your style? And it's not that Pamela is by far, like in any case, like a good person. It's just we get to see a lot more of Boof, and who's just so sweet, so honest, and it's just more of our style, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's more realistic. I think we've known a Boof in our life, I think. And I don't know, there's something special about her. There's even a scene where she's playing basketball with Scott's dad, which I thought was so special. Again, another childhood friend moment. Dad approves. Dad's like, yeah, Boof, kind of pushing Boof. You know what I mean? What a name, too. It's such a cute name.
Such a great name because, like, let's be honest. At least me, I know I had that situation growing up when you're going to go to a party or you're going to go out, you're going to go whatever, and you're in high school, and right, so you got to obviously tell your parents what's going on. And you're like, I'm going to go, we're going to go to a party. And there, my dad was one of the, love my dad. He's just like, hey, where are you going? Right? Who are you going to be with?
Yeah.
Who are their parents?
Yes, sir.
That whole thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, I'm going to be, who? And you tell him a name of maybe someone you're going out on a date with. And if your dad or your parents can say, all right, that's good. Yeah, we approve. That's your Boof. That's a Boof situation. She's playing basketball with Harold, like she's playing basketball with Scott's dad. Like, how cool is that? Like, how awesome is that situation? But, if you say you're going on a date and it's like Pamela and maybe your parents also are in the town gossip and know that Pamela's got a reputation in this situation.
Pamela's also got a boyfriend at this time.
lest we forget, because he's a major part of this whole movie. He's a main catalyst. Rick, the boyfriend. Mick is also the boyfriend. Rick is somewhere else. Now, Mick, who's the boyfriend of Pamela, who is like 38, Lance.
Mark Arnold is the actor for this. Apparently, he believed in this so much, his contract was up for a TV show that he was in, and he asked them to kill him off so that he could promote Teen Wolf.
Oh, okay.
So God bless him.
I kind of like the guy now.
Yeah, like come on.
Oh, and we're not weird, y'all. Like we can separate the actors from the characters that they play, right? The fact is, Hollywood has been doing this forever, and they still do it today, where they cast people who are not even close to the age they're supposed to be portraying in this film. You got these high school. Michael J. Fox is the only one that I believe can be a teen in high school when you see him. But like Mick has got like a 5 o'clock shadow. He is like, they even allude to the fact that he's way too old to be in high school. Like Alan, I think, right, says something like that. Like the only reason that he's in high school is because he did time.
Yeah, that's right. But Alan always speaks the truth.
But I do love that little tidbit that he was like, "Yo, I'm done. Teen Wolf's here. Go ahead and get rid of me." I love that shit.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Mick is the I guess the villain essentially for Scott and soon to become the Wolf. From the very beginning, there's a huge element of basketball in this. Scott is on the varsity team for the Beavers, the Nebraska Beavers, because I don't know what the hometown is called. I haven't seen or heard it yet.
Hill Valley.
No,
that's.
Fun fact about that, actually, I believe they shot on the same neighborhood as the 1955 set for Back to the Future.
That is correct.
So I played basketball, obviously, varsity jacket on. I never sweat as much as Scott sweats in this game. I don't understand why he is drenched in sweat. Michael J. Fox, not a huge basketball player, so.
Well, look, Lance, there's an okay, look. I know you. Hey, he's got the Letterman on, folks. He lettered in basketball. Lance did, but
Twice.
Pardon me, but let's.
This is all leeway for you, buddy.
It's not to say that I don't have a few insights as to basketball myself, Lance, and all of you listening. When I was in high school, I was the only junior on the sophomore team. So that's to say that we had a competitive edge. Look, I did play basketball in high school. I did join when I was a junior because I just wanted to be a part of some sort of sports situation because I was like in band and I was in theater, and it was great. But I was like, I want to do some sports. It's too late to learn all the plays for football. I'm not going to do baseball either because whatever. I was like, basketball, I've got some height. Let me get in there. And they were like, hey, you're a junior? Naturally, you should probably play junior varsity. Nope. We need you on the sophomore team. But isn't the sophomore team only for sophomores? They're like, shh, don't be telling anybody you're a junior. And let me tell you, my final stat line for my collegiate career, 2 points. You want to know why? Because I got fouled. And I sank both free throws like it was my job.
Let's go.
Wet. Swish both of them. I still see the celebration in the stands from my mom and my dad. And it was great. So, I won in the end.
That's true. I didn't know that there was more than JV and varsity.
Yeah, well, it's like when some people, like a lot of kids, want to participate. They got to make up teams.
Intramurals, because it was just like a voluntary, like, well, we're gonna have people here so you can play the sport.
I'm sorry I didn't go to LeBron's academy here, Lance. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, it was just a small South Texas town that tried to get there. All right, but the fact of the matter is, I played basketball too. And that's fine.
We've established basketball. We've established the characters. Let's get down to the horror elements.
All right. Let's talk about it.
It is called Teen Wolf.
All right. So, folks.
Wolf.
Wolf. Scott has inherited this trait about becoming a werewolf from his family. We don't learn that specifically. Beacon Hill, I believe. Beacon Hill Beavers.
That just came to you.
Scott doesn't know, obviously, that the rest of his family is a werewolf. Scott only lives with his dad. It's established. They don't really allude to the mom a lot, but they do in some stories. But Scott has like slowly going through a few things throughout the beginning and the middle of the movie until he finally transforms. Doing things like chest hair. He's has no body hair. Michael J. Fox. He's like a baby, and he like yanks a thing of chest hair. He's got like scratching. He's like, is there a rash going around? He's like, no, but I know the shop teacher got his dick caught in a vacuum.
Thank you, Styles.
Yeah. Little things like that are happening. He goes to a party and he's like, 7 Minutes in Heaven with Boof. That's the party we were talking about. And in that, like, his fingernails come out. He gets a little bit more animalistic. So, like, there's a bit of a transformation going on. And there's, like, sort of scary stuff is going on because it's like his ears are pointy. He's getting bangs here and there. And then one day, it's happening. It's time for him to transform. And he comes home from... he comes home from that party because it's happening too much, and that transformation scene is pretty unsettling, Lance.
Yeah, especially for the time. I mean, we've talked about makeup and transitions before. It is like the brow, I think, is what gets me. You see some of the hair come out, you see the nails, but there's a shot of Michael J. Fox wearing this crazy huge brow. And that's what kind of got me like, oh, that's kind of scary. Like,
yeah, it's like a lot of practical effects. Obviously, it's the 80s, so CGI and all that stuff doesn't exist. But there is a moment there where they're doing like that bubble sort of effect under like I don't know, latex, I suppose. But it's supposed to be like his face is kind of changing and stuff. I would equate it to kind of the way Arnold looked, or it wasn't Arnold, but it was. It's supposed to be the Terminator in Terminator 1 when he's kind of like falling apart.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you, asshole. Like that part, like that's what it looked like. It almost looked like the exact same makeup effects. But yes, he's transforming. And then, there's a lot of sweat and stuff. And then eventually he just kind of backs away from the mirror and he's full on wolf. Okay.
His reaction is hilarious.
Jeez Louise. I love that because it's scary. There's moments that are like uncomfortable, but there's always some comedy in there. I would say, like, if I'm going to put this in a category, and I love horror comedy, I would say this is like comedy with some horror elements.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's a horror comedy. It's comedy with some horror elements, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, no,
I think I jumped the gun, but like we'll get there eventually where we're going to be like, is this scary? Is this a horror movie or not? And we'll make our final distinction maybe at the end. And maybe my ideas will change. But the thing, let's talk. We're still on this transformation scene. He backs away, and you have seen werewolves depicted in movies before, folks. I mean, Monster Squad is my favorite werewolf.
Right.
Of course, you got the Wolfman, you've got Super Bullet, you've got the Howling, you've got all these like, oh crap, that looks scary. When you see Scott Howard, Michael J. Fox, as the Teen Wolf, his hair is like combed back
perfectly.
Every ounce of hair is just straight and sort of like flat ironed almost. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not disheveled. It's almost like, oh, put some glasses and maybe a headband on this guy or put him in a basketball uniform and it's just going to look like a very hairy dude. But he's got fangs as well and he's got long fingernails. But like...
It's very Wolfman. We've talked about this too. Is there Wolfman or is it werewolf? You know what I mean? And it's Wolfman.
Wolfmans are my preference for a werewolf movie.
Okay.
I like to see the legs and like that he's like a wolf humanoid sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
When they transform into a full-on wolf, like lichen and stuff like that, I'm like, that's scary, but I don't know that you are also a man. A wolf man is terrifying, especially if it's like they make him hulking and muscular. Still, stand by that the fact is that my favorite depiction of a wolf man is from Monster Squad. He looks terrifying. He's got like almost gray eyes. But this one is like, this is Michael J. Fox in a very hairy costume.
It's funny the way you broke it down, but when you actually see him in the basketball uniform, it just reminds me of Jim Morrison in his bearded stage, like very long hair, very bearded. Just a hairy dude from the 70s. That's all I see.
He kind of like, he looks very like at certain points, and depending on how, like what they put him in, like, I mean, at one point he tries to join the high school play so he could be next to Pamela because, okay. Can we also talk about the fact that she never noticed him before when he was just a nice, good-looking Michael J. Fox?
Please.
But the fact is that she notices him when he gets all hairy and wolfy and not human looking.
Okay, but there's a huge swagger and confidence that comes with the wolf.
Well, would you look at that shit right there? Would you look at that shit right there? Lance, are you telling me that what it all comes down to is just being confident?
And some hair, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, look, he has swept up the school. The school, he's taken them by storm. They have all got wolf fever because, yes, he is. We kind of, you know, he transforms into a wolf. He accepts the fact that he's going to be a wolf, and then one day he's in a basketball game. He's in a scrum situation. There's a bunch of people trying to get the ball, loose ball, and then he comes up as the wolf, and everybody's freaking the fuck out. And then he like is a awesome basketball player because apparently you have to be part wolf to be an awesome basketball player.
I just love that he embraces the moment like, this is me now. And I'm going to go dunk the ball on everybody. Everybody just lets him go and he just goes full court, dunks the ball. I think it's hilarious. The stuntman is just amazing.
Oh yeah, the stuntman's amazing because like Michael J. Fox is tiny, like
yeah,
not a thing. So like he can't really be doing a lot of these like basketball scenes. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put a drop in the bucket for why I think the horror element is always present when he becomes a werewolf.
Okay.
Majority, I want to talk about maybe like 90% of the people that are surrounding him in the scenes when he is a wolf don't give a shit, one, and accept it, two. About 90, maybe 96%.
Okay.
I'm very percentage heavy. I don't know if you've realized today. I'm very percentage heavy today.
I have.
Alan.
Thank you. Yes.
Alan is never down with the werewolf shit.
Except for one scene, but go ahead.
Okay. For the majority, he's, we'll say about like 93%.
Percentages.
For the majority, Alan is not down with the wolf situation. Mm-hmm. So when he transforms, everybody kind of has that reaction. We will talk about the villain B here a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. But for the majority, everyone who sees that Scott turns into a werewolf are like, pardon me? Right. What the hell's going on? Especially Boof. She's like, wait, maybe? I love you. What's happening? And when he starts dunking the ball, and everyone's like, oh, shit. Okay. He's got some skills. We're a team that kind of sucks. But if all we have to kind of like swallow here is the fact that you're a werewolf now and you're going to score us a bunch of points, fuck it. We'll accept it.
Timeout. Okay, so the team, I'm just going to jump ahead. The team turns on him at some point, but I'm going to say Scott Howard, the wolf, was padding stats for everybody.
What do you mean?
There's a scene where he drives through the entire lane, has a wide open layup, but he passes to his teammate, gets the ball back, and hits that same layup, giving his teammate an assist. That is padding stats.
Is that padding stats or is that just being an awesome team player?
Both.
Okay.
Both. That's all I want to say about it.
Okay. All right.
Stat patter.
He could be a stat patter, but let's not pitter patter here. Let's get to the fact that the fact is Alan is mostly terrified.
Yeah.
The horror element. We got to talk about it. Alan is not comfortable with the fact that there is a lichen in the damn schools now. Even though that's his friend. That's his friend. Let me ask you this, Lance. If right here, right now, in the Slasher's Paradise, I decided to just transform into a werewolf, but I was very like, it's just Danny as a werewolf. You know, hairier, you know, probably like, I don't know. I'll probably be like amazing at card tricks or something. I don't know what, like, I'm just trying to like something I could demonstrate here.
Okay.
How would that affect you?
I'd probably be pretty terrified, but I'm also stuck in the corner and I know it's you. I would just need you to talk to me.
Right.
I need Danny to come out.
Right.
Which is something to say, like the point that you're making is Boof still accepts her friend no matter what. Like, okay, I accept this, but it's not you. You're a different person, but I still like you, Scott.
That's beautiful because it fits into the point you made earlier about how this is a complete movie.
Yes.
If you were able to achieve the greatness that you have always like strived for, but it came at a cost. In this case, it became you not being yourself.
Right.
Would it still be as enjoyable? And that's the story that's being told here.
That's the movie.
Scott is, for better or worse, just trying to deal with this thing that it was thrust upon him. He didn't seek it out.
The curse of the werewolf.
The curse of the werewolf. He's like, oh, sorry, I'm actually not killing chickens or killing people, and you're not going to need to shoot me with a silver bullet. I'm actually just going to try and be the best version of myself that I've always wanted to be. Get the popular girl, score the winning basket, and be popular as shit. But that's not who you are.
Right.
And the fact is that he actually transforms in and out of the werewolf because he's like, I'm going to be Scott today. I'm not going to be the wolf. And if he had just stayed the werewolf the whole time, then maybe it's like, this is the new person that we're just going to have to deal with that.
Right. Back to Alan. Again, I've kind of made this point, is it's a complete movie. I feel like we don't get that as much anymore, but it's a complete movie because even Scott and Alan's interactions throughout the movie are very sparse. Alan is more of the sidekick to Styles, the younger sidekick,
yeah.
I assume.
But keeps it real. I think that's the main thing about Alan, is that he does keep it real.
Yeah.
Like, Styles tries to get beer, and he's like, I don't even like beer. Like, he's just keeping it real. And Scott has always tried to get with Pamela before the wolf, and Alan's the one that kind of throws it in his face. He's like, she's got a boyfriend, dude. Yeah. And the only reason he's in high school is because he did time. That's Alan's line. But Alan keeps it real the whole time, and the reality is, this is not normal. People don't just transform into werewolves.
No. And there's even a point where Styles and Scott come together, and they want to do the surfing, which we're gonna get into.
Oh, we're definitely gonna get
into
that.
He asks, like, hey, where is he? And it's like,
oh my god, we're calling this dude Alan the whole time. His name is Lewis.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Is the actor's name Alan?
Wait, I don't know what the actor's name is, but the character's name is Lewis.
No, Matt Adler. I don't know why.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
Lewis.
Backtrack. Every time we've said Alan, and we've said it hard. Every time we've said Alan, Lewis. Lewis is his name. Oh, that's actually better, because let me tell you something. I don't want to offend a Lewis. I know some dickhead Allens. I don't want to offend a Lewis. What?
Okay.
I don't.
Anyway, Lewis.
Lewis is the one.
Lewis takes himself out of the picture because he is kind of weirded out by this wolf that Scott has put on. He doesn't get it. He's actually scared of it, which is the point you were trying to make. There is a scary element to the wolf.
I think if you were to look at it from Scott's point of view, he's like, I've only been nothing but a straight up friend to you, Scott, to Lewis. I've only been a straight up friend for you. I'm obviously going through something that I cannot explain. Why are you going to be an asshole about it and not try to be like my friend? So maybe the counter argument could be like, Scott's just trying his best and Lewis is just being a bit of a pussy. I don't know.
Perhaps.
Dude, if he looked like the werewolf from Monster Squad and was tearing up lockers and was killing people, be scared.
But he's not.
But he's not. But it's not like he can't throw down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, look, there are aspects of high school that are just going to continue to happen, which is what I love most about this movie, is that they're like, shit, we have a student who is turning into a werewolf. Do we cancel things? Do we, like, call the National Guard? Nah, let's just keep going. All right, we have the spring dance. We have all these things that are on the calendar. Let's just keep going. Nobody gives a shit.
No.
That's what I freaking love so much about this movie.
His best friend Styles, again, the opportunist, actually merchandises the Teen Wolf.
Yes.
He actually merchandises his friends. Says, hey, we're going platinum, baby. Like, we're going to sell out. We've sold out t-shirts.
Large. That's what I'm saying.
So much to the fact that the spring dance the Teen Wolf has his own song.
Oh my God. All right.
Here we go.
Y'all. if there was ever a moment, I think a lot of people want to always. If you've seen Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, I think a lot of us want to recreate the Sandy Frink coming to the reunion in a helicopter and be like, dang, I got it going on shit, he did it in 10 years, but it's like, no, here's my reunion and I'm going to show up in style. I think all of us kind of want to have that moment where we go back to see our high school people and they're like, dang, you actually are a movie star. Dang, you actually are a CEO, whatever the hell, right? This dude got that moment in high school in record time because he went to their dance. I mean, is it prom or whatever it is? It's a high school dance, and he goes to it as the wolf, wearing a white suit, by the way, very classy, very, very good looking. Comes in, signals the frickin' DJ to play the track that I assume was laid down the moment this dude turned into a werewolf. They're like, all right, this is gonna come up. We better make a theme song for this dude. That is a moment that I think is like ultra G status because look, let's face it, when you're in high school, everybody's dealing with their own shit. They're trying to navigate it as best they can. Nobody really wants to be like, oh, dang, what was your high school experience like? And you're like, man, I really supported this one guy who was going through it and killing it. I just was a fan of him. Like, nobody's going to do that. Am I bullshitting? Am I not making sense? I think that like, if the best thing that you can remember from your high school was the fact that one person was given all the credit, I think that's kind of like a shitty high school experience, so it's not realistic. But the fact is, there's a high school dance. He goes, he signals the DJ, and they play, boom! Well, you sure don't look like your grandma. And it's a song that's like about the big bad wolf. Guess what? You can't find it. If you wanted to look for it on Spotify, I know, I checked. I wanted to jam out to it going to work because that would get me in the mood to try getting to work and be like, you're a big bad wolf. I can't. I don't know the lyrics of the whole thing, but I do know the way it makes me feel. And I'll tell you this much. The fact that happened and everyone in the dance is like, yeah, he's here. Let's go. Fuck that shit, man. I'd be so jealous. I'd be so jealous in the audience being like, I was having a good time and what, I have to stop because some dude is going through a metamorphosis? Fuck that shit.
The song is called Big Bad Wolf by the Wolf Sisters.
What?
Danny's having a crisis right now.
Are you fucking kidding me? The song is called Big Bad Wolf by the Wolf Sisters? Tell me you're not a real artist without telling me you're a real artist.
He's got multiple songs.
You've got to be fucking kidding me. Oh, Lord. Look at this. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. This is the one scene where it kind of lost it for me on the Lewis story. I'm so hot from laughing so hard.
I haven't laughed that hard in the Slasher's Paradise.
I could not breathe.
Oh my God.
I'm actually in tears right now.
By the Wolf Sisters. Woo. Here we go.
Lewis is actually getting down to Big Bad Wolf in this scene. And it's the one time I was like, oh, they kind of dropped one of those realistic stories. My whole thing about the realistic part is like, I feel like movies now would be like, okay, well, now the basketball team needs to be called the Wolves or the Werewolves or something like that. No, they're the Beavers the entire time, no matter what. There's just like things that could have changed or could have been so specific to what the movie is. And they're like, no, we're going a totally different direction. And it's normal. You know what I mean? And it kind of goes with the Beavers thing. But this is the one scene where not only is there a song for Scott the Wolf, but there's a dance that he created for everyone to dance. Oh, we're getting down to it too. There's a dance.
Scott,
Danny.
Michael J. Fox had a stunt double for the basketball scenes for sure.
Yes.
He definitely had a stunt double for these dance scenes. Let me just tell you.
The acrobatics, at least.
Oh my gosh. Well, yes. But you know what? You brought it up, Lance. Forget Lewis.
Okay. Why?
Because you don't get to have the sizzle and not the steak. You don't get to say, you know what, I'm okay, but everybody's having a good time and I can actually have fun because everybody wants to dance. And now, I'm dancing with a cool girl and all this stuff. And everybody's dancing to the Wolf song. So I'm okay with it now. No. Mm-hmm. If you don't like the Wolf, get the hell out. You know, you're the only one that has a problem with the Wolf situation. Get out.
I agree. And that's where it kind of falls apart. But this comes to a head because Mick is there. Mm-hmm. Pamela is there. Mm-hmm. And Scott, the Wolf's original date was Pamela. Now it's Boof. Mm-hmm. Now it's coming to a head.
Well, because Boof wants to go to the dance with Scott the whole time, but she says, I'm not going to go to the dance.
That's another thing, though. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
Well, and talk about it. But Boof says, I want to go to the dance with you, but I don't want to go with the Wolf. I want to go with you, Scott.
Right.
That's what makes her so freaking real. And that's why Boof is in the annals of the 80s royalty of crushes, of awesome depictions of female characters, of just beautiful, moments in 80s history. You got to put her up there with the Julie Aronsons and the Phoebe Cates. And I'm going to shout out one of my buddies, Joe, who is like, it's his quintessential heartthrob is Boof for him.
Whoa.
Yeah. Quintessential. Okay. He's like, that is my everything is Boof.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah. But you're talking about a lot of ingredients are at this dance that can go off the edges.
Yes. And it comes to a head where Scott finally comes back because of Boof. But again, back to the Lewis thing.
Oh, right.
Boof actually is like turned on once the dance happens and kisses the Wolf. There's a moment like, okay, now it's time. We're going for it. And she goes for it. And she goes for the kiss. And then Scott is back. We get Scott. They go back into the dance. And Mick's like, I've had enough. I see Scott. I don't see the Wolf. And I'm going for it. And he punches him and knocks him down.
Are you going to talk about the way Michael J. Fox hits the ground?
Oh, go for it.
I mean, like it's like one of those. It's like a weird scene, but it's like in Casino when Don Rickles hits the ground and after Joe Pesci hits him, and then like he turns over and he's like, ah! It's a weird thing. That's like, how did that make the edit? But when Michael J. Fox gets punched by Mick, when Scott does, sorry, and he falls down. He kind of like falls down, looks, and then he like recoils and like puts his hands in his face because it hurts. And like Boof is there for him, and it's like, look, I grew up fighting some like that. I didn't grow up fighting. That's stupid. I grew up and I was in fights sometimes in high school, right? And when you get in fights,
yeah.
It's a big machismo thing when I was growing up and shit. Like, it's like if you don't win the fight, like, good luck trying to make it through high school and be like, oh, remember when you got your ass kicked?
Yeah.
So I really don't know exactly what the point I'm trying to make here, but there's a moment there where like Boof is not about any of that horse shit. She's not about the, oh, dang, you got punched by Mick and you fell and then you looked weird. She just goes to him immediately and wants
weird.
Sorry. It is what it is. He did look weird. But she goes to him. This is the last thing. She goes to him right away and she's like, I'm here with you. I want to be like here at your side. That's all.
Two things. The suit that Scott is wearing is very Saturday Night Fever. And the move that Scott pulls after he gets punched is very dancey. I think he gets punched, hits the ground, comes up, and then does a dramatic fall back down.
That's what I'm saying.
It's very Saturday Night Fever, I believe.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Mick makes a jab at Boof to Scott, and that's what sets Scott off. The anger comes out, and then he's the Hulk Wolf, and he comes out, and he actually we see the first time the aggression come out of the Wolf from Scott, and he tears the clothes off of Mick. Not completely, but just slashes him. And everyone that was afraid of him, Lewis, Alan, is now like, oh, validated. That's what I was afraid of this entire time. That's why I've backed off.
Yeah.
And I think it's a huge point of like, ooh, that was there the whole time. That's where the scary comes from.
That's the moment.
Yeah.
That's the moment where, if you notice, it's not just Lewis, even Styles.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, this was all fun when you were just kind of, playing basketball and biting like Coke cans and things like that. Now you actually like transformed in anger and attack somebody. This is getting real. What's to say that you can't do that to me?
Right.
And I think this is where the movie shifts, because not only is it Scott looking at this moment and being like, well, there's something definitely wrong here, but it's him trying to navigate all these waters of being like, dang, there's this real big animal that's inside me. But what's beautiful also, because there can be beauty in these like really dark moments, what's beautiful about this moment is that the thing that did set him off, like you mentioned, is Mick insulting Boof.
Yeah.
Because Scott loves Boof, man.
Yeah.
Boof is awesome, and they're the same height, and it's great. Michael J. Fox is a little Michael J. Fox is a little guy, and Boof is the same height as him. It's also Pamela as well. Like, they're all the same height. It's weird. Okay, but this is the point I'm trying to make here. This is where the movie turns, because we've all enjoyed the fun things about the wolf. He's getting, his grades altered by his teachers. He's like, break dancing in the talk about stereotypical representation. Like, I mean, the only person that's break dancing in the school is a black man. Like, it's like, oh, we really don't have any people of color in this whole movie, but the one time we're going to show someone a person of color is like, anyway, like all the fun, we've enjoyed the fun. These are the nice things that come with the wolf. Now we got to pay the piper.
Yeah.
The fact is that he is still a werewolf, and he can and has the ability to cause some major damage. And he in turn is like, shit. This is a moment where I kind of have to have a come to Jesus with myself, because it's like, am I going to continue to be this person? Am I going to continue? And his dad has already had a conversation with him about like, you got to get a hold of it because it can get really dangerous.
Well, specifically, Mr. Thorne, the principal, I'm guessing
he's the principal.
He's the authority of the school. Howard
Villain B.
You mentioned this before. We didn't get back to it. Howard and Mr. Thorne went to high school together.
Yep.
I had a whole thing about Scott's mom. It was a very similar story to what's going on with Scott and Boof and Mick to me. Similar. And that villain B thing. So Howard turns into the wolf when he's in high school, scares Mr. Thorne. That's all he's known as. I don't know if he's got a
Thorne.
name. Thorne. Yeah. Mr. Thorne. To the point where he loses his bodily functions in high school.
He scares the piss out of him.
So that is the story. That's what Howard's trying to tell Scott of like, hey, this thing can come out of you. You can lose control of it. And it is very scary to a lot of people. But there is a way to use that.
I want to talk about this scene really quick because we've talked about a lot of like the aspects of the movie and how it makes us feel and a lot of that. And that's great. The score.
Let's go.
The score has I can't even tell you what instrument it is. Probably piano and a variation of like a synthesizer, right?
Yeah.
It's a choice. It's definitely a choice, especially in when he's doing his transformation. It's din 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 din. There's a lot of heartbeats. There's a lot of breathing. There's a lot of that accompanied in like the sounds that you hear. But for this moment that Lance is talking about, where Scott and his dad are having that conversation, where he's telling him, "This is what like I am a werewolf too. I'm doing the best I can, as you know that you actually didn't know I was a werewolf this whole time. That's how much of a hold I have on this situation." Mm-hmm. But he tells him about the Thorn story, and the music that's accompanying it is kind of like it almost feels like Brad Fidels. I forget how to say his last name, but he's the composer for Terminator and all these like great scores, but also Fright Night. So it's almost like the Come to Me Dun, 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 dun. It's like very ghastly, like ethereal. That's not the right word. There's like a light touch to it. It's like surrounding. It's almost like good. It's good. It's a presence of good around what he's saying, but it's fleeting. It's almost like too much of a push will disintegrate it too much. And what Mr. Howard says in that moment, he's like, but to this day, I don't know who was more scared, old Rusty Thorn or me.
Right.
You got to get a hold of it, Scott. What he's trying to say is like, I could have killed this guy.
Yeah.
And I have, and, you know, he would have been justified, you know, like he was making it hard on their life and all that stuff. And in this case, Mick punched Scott and embarrassed him in front of everybody. I don't know. Justified is not the right word, Danny. You don't get to kill somebody because they punched you.
No, but you're talking about that rivalry, you know, and Scott has a rivalry with Mick. And that's what I love about the movie is you could have just gone to Scott turns into the wolf, scares Mick into pissing himself. And it's the same exact story that his dad went through. But you didn't do that. Mick actually takes on the wolf, which I give credit to Mick. Like, that's badass.
Yeah, I mean, like,
he's like, no, let's go. You know, he has to be held back from the wolf.
He does, but at the same time, if you're 38 and you're in high school, like you won't be scared of a lot of people in their werewolf stages just because they're 20. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to make the point too. You could have gone a certain way with this movie that would make it very cliche, and which I think a lot of movies nowadays would do. And you didn't go that direction. Back to the soundtrack though, up until the point that Danny was talking about where Scott and his dad have this moment, everything is tension. Even the opening line, it just says Teen Wolf, and it's very quiet and huffy puffy, and then it's tension building for the first quarter of the movie. The dun 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 dun. That's all you get. And then the rest of the movie is a great soundtrack. Like it matches everything.
Well, there's obviously a distinction between score and soundtrack, because soundtrack, they don't give a shit. In this movie, they don't pull any punches. They're going to let you know we are going to have montages where we're going to supplement them with an amazing sort of get you fucking going song. And then they're going to have like good has triumphed over evil, sort of send you on your way song.
Love it.
But let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about Rocky training in the in Russia. Let's talk about that. Let's talk, you know, because it's like when he's training in Russia, you want to hit the gym hard that day, watch that scene, right? Where it's like the burning heart. The burning heart. It's like, yeah, I'll get him going. We get to a point here in the end of the movie where Scott has decided, I can't be the wolf. I've seen what it is. I've seen how terrified it makes everyone. I've seen that it's not the person I want to be. I can't control it in that way. I have to just live my life, even though I'm going to be this for the rest of my life. And like, you know, maybe he'll pull it out. He's like, oh, dang, I can't reach that screw up there on the top of the house. Let me be the wolf because I could jump. Yeah. You know, things like that. He might use it for the future. But for the final, because he has got his team to the championship game as the wolf. They've cheated. No, they got themselves to the championship, and it's against Mick's team. And Scott has decided, hey, Boof, hey, Styles, I'm just going to try and be myself. And I love that scene right before you see that Scott's just going to like go to the final championship game as himself. Styles, who's merchandised him, made him the Teen Wolf and all this stuff. He's like, Scott, I have all these like sales. I have all these like t-shirts and stuff that I need to sell that say the Teen Wolf. He's like, Scott, do the right thing. And Michael J. Fox in his classic Marty McFly puts his hands in his, you know, in his jeans, and he turns around. He's like, that's all I'm trying to do, Styles. That's all I'm trying to do. And just leaves and, you know, heads on over to talk to Doc. But the point is that sets up the end where it's just this wholesome, let's get ready for it. Could we, as the team, without the wolf, beat the big bad juggernaut that is the dragons and Mick without the help of the wolf? Can they do it? Well, we're about to see. The fact is, Scott had some handles without being the wolf. Let's just be honest here.
He knew that they could win. He came in and said, I think we can win. We can beat these guys.
And in the end, they did win. They won in the end. What? Okay. The reason I say that, and I have been saying that throughout this entire episode, is because the montage of them playing the Dragons in the championship is mostly covered by this awesome song called "Win in the End," where it just makes you want to win yourself. It makes you want to go win in the end. I've got to win in the end. And if you put that next to the actual song, you would see that I actually hit the keys pretty good. But it's an awesome scene because there's a back and forth. They're trying to close the gap because the Dragons have scored a bunch. Actually, Scott joins the game like in the second or third quarter.
Yeah,
so they have a lot of time to make. Yeah, they have a lot of time to make up. But they do it. They get to the end where it's going to come down to a final field goal. And if you final free throw, and if you remember from the beginning of the movie, the way it starts is Scott at the free throw line. And of course, the championship game comes down to, first of all, Mick stepping to him. Who is the referee on here at this game? They're allowing a lot of unsportsmanlike conduct to happen. But in any case, it comes down to they are down by 1. Scott gets fouled really bad to take 2 shots. He's going to take the 2 final shots. Styles is there. He's got, I don't know what those things are when you put them on the belt that you can get the coins really quick. He's got that because he's making sales left and right, and it's come down to this. Scott is dripping. There's the referee has cleared the way, and Scott has to hit 2 free throws, one to tie, another to win. Mick is dripping sweat. It's kind of ridiculous, but the fact is whoever the towel boy is on, for both these teams has got his work cut out for him. Then Scott sinks the first one. The place goes nuts. Styles, though, he's seen this song and dance before. He's just kind of sitting off to the side. He's like, yes, but can you win in the end? And everything is getting quiet. There's a lot of breathing and everything like that. You're like, if he sinks this free throw, it's going to make for an awesome moment. If you just gave us "Win in the End" as the song for the montage, what do you have in store for us for when he sinks the final free throw? But then he gets to the line, he dribbles, he's dripping sweat, he shoots, the ball hits the front of the rim, it hits the backboard, it's kind of going all around, and then it finally sinks into the hoop. Mick sees the ball fall right in front of him because he's decided to just be under the hoop to make himself be the focal point of this moment. But it's not your story, Mick. It's actually Scott, who sinks the free throw, who wins in the end, and everyone in the audience and everyone in the gym goes nuts, and they're all over it, and they pick a song that honestly makes you feel like you just finished an educational programming that you're supposed to watch when you're in high school or in middle school that just says say no to drugs. And it's just this really light song. I don't know who the artist is, but it's a single drop of rain, who can say blah blah. And it's all these moments are happening and it's all very soft, and Scott is up on the shoulders of everybody. They're celebrating with him, and in the moment he just won in the end. Here comes Pamela to be like, hey, I like you now because you beat Mick fair and square, and I see you for who you are. She's going up to him. Scott gets down from the shoulders, and what does he do? See ya, bitch. He pushes Pamela to the side, who has not been a nice girl this whole time. And he goes and he hugs Boof, and they share a moment and they kiss. And then he jumps into his father's arms. And it creates a moment that's very weird because I don't know if this was the take to go with, but the fact is there's a lot of extras going all over the place and they're kind of celebrating and stuff, but he jumps into Harold Howard's arms, and Harold does this thing because Michael J. Fox, he's so little. He does a thing where he kind of jumps him up, and Scott kind of wraps his legs around his father's waist. Not what I'd be doing with my dad. I'm going to be quite frank. This just maybe a firm handshake and just be I won in the end. But no, his dad just kind of parades him around and kind of circles him. And then the movie credits start to roll and everything is right. And I need to just say the last thing about this moment that doesn't, quite frankly, it's honestly the scariest part of this whole thing is that this music choice, and then the fact that the credits are rolling with everyone celebrating, it's all in slow motion. It makes me feel the most terrified than I have been the entire movie.
Why?
And why, Lance? Why, you want to know? Because it's over. Everything is, I guess, won, but I feel like I don't get to be a part of this world anymore. And it's like, watch this world that we created for you. Watch it slow motion, because it's all happening in slow motion. Watch it fade away. And now you, Danny, who watched this movie because you convinced your parents that you were sick, but you weren't really sick. You convinced them that you were going to stay home from school. You decided to watch the movie, and now it's over, and you're like, shit, I actually do have to do that homework that I didn't do yesterday. And that's what, to me, is the most terrifying part of Teen Wolf.
We had so much context to that part of the conversation. That was quite a rant, Danny. Thank you for taking us through the end.
You never took the camera off me, so I just wanted to keep on going. Oh, Lord.
Wow. You covered a lot in 5 minutes. That was pretty good.
Was that 5?
I think it was like 5 or 6 minutes. It's pretty good. That's the end. That's all of it. There is a funny moment that an extra in the stands actually had their pants down when everybody starts cheering. That didn't come out until the early 2000s.
Yeah, we are definitely not going to not talk about the extra with their pants down.
That was a thing. Apparently nobody knew about that literally until VH1 kind of talked about it. When they used to like kind of talk about like the 80s, the 90s or whatever, I don't know if you remember that. But they kind of brought that up, and then everyone went, oh yeah, there's a guy with his pants down in the crowd. And we were kind of talking about that. Like, was that, you have a theory?
I do have a theory. Folks of the girthier persuasion know that when you are sitting at a girthier, when you are sitting at like a table for a long time and you're like, I'm going to wear my good jeans tonight. And in good, you mean like the ones that like make your ass look good or whatever. It's like accentuates your package or whatever. Those are probably the tighter jeans of the choices. And then you've been sitting for a long time. You're like, God bless it. I just need to undo a button or two just to kind of make it through the rest of the day. And what I think happened is that this extra was sitting in the stands the whole time, undid their buttons of their jeans, and then it was like, all right, folks, we're not going to use this scene. We're going to go ahead and just everybody celebrates. And then they celebrate, and they're like, oh shit, my pants are undone. So they like pull their shirt down to be like, it's fine. They're not going to use this cut. But apparently that was the scene where Michael J. Fox decided to jump into his father's embrace and get... I'm sorry, Lance. It's weird to me.
It was a little odd. Yes.
But it made the cut. And now that person has been immortalized as the got their junk out person in the end credits there.
Yeah. What a great movie. Like I said, a full movie. And there's a character in here that we didn't even talk about, and that was the coach.
Oh, Bobby Finster?
Finstone?
I think Finster. I think I got. Well, we're good with the names this time. Finstock. Bobby Finstock. Coach Finstock. And let me just say, and to that, what I'm going to say here is, I was an educator for a while, and it was probably not good for me to be so informed from a lot of the movies that I watched growing up. I'm like, oh, Breakfast Club, I can be that way. I can be that teacher, like, it's obviously not acceptable, but there's something Coach Finstock makes me laugh because he's kind of there present, and then he's also like, actually it's all bullshit. I really don't want to be a source of like guiding you all for anything.
Yeah, he actually has the line of like, hey, you can come to me for anything. I got a lot going on.
I love that. In the beginning, Scott's the first person he wants to talk to about the changes he's going to is the coach. He goes over into the and okay. The coach, when Scott walks into his office, he's got KFC on his desk amidst like papers. And I just have never known a coach to have that many that many papers. You know, it's like it's kind of cut and dry. You know, well, but whatever. He teaches PE and there's like records or whatever. But a lot of it looked like he was an accountant, but he also has KFC. But he offers Scott. He's like, "You want a leg and stuff?" And let me just say, I have to say this, Lance. There are a lot of moments in movies where someone is like eating or drinking or doing something that's like consuming, right?
Yeah.
That makes me want to. Oh, I want that right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, give me that. I want KFC so bad, and he's not even eating it. Do you know what he's doing? He's chewing gum.
Mm-hmm.
He's chewing gum, but because he's like, no, you want a leg or anything like that, it makes me want chicken so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, the spread. I mean, it's a spread. It's the gym coach's spread. He just has some funny lines in this movie, and he's just a touch. It's just a touch of comedy every time he comes in.
It's kind of ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but it's like I want a movie of just him.
I also want to play for him. Yeah. I want him to be my coach.
I don't know about that.
He's eating a hard-boiled egg on the sideline. And he tells his assistant to go grab him some salt.
When Scott shows up at the very end, he's like, "No, Scott, or no, coach. It's just there's no wolf. It's just me." He's like, "We're gonna lose a lot.
We're gonna get our ass kicked, but do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do."
That's what I love about the coach as well, because he's also like kind of like not moved by either way. He's like, he starts winning, so he starts dressing better, but then he's like, where's the wolf? And he's like, well, no wolf. He's like, oh, cool. Well, all this like new life that I've come accustomed to is gonna go down the drain, but here we are.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'll go get some KFC. It's fine. Like everything's fine, but he's got some ideas for it.
But I think something has to be said about actors that can give you that moment where they depict something that is so savory or so, and it's not even just KFC. It's like I talked about it in the past. Anyone who like kind of lip smacks right before they need like a drink, and it's always like an alcoholic is like, yeah, let me get a drink, like Eddie Valiant in Who Framed Roger Rabbit when he goes and he talks to what's his name, Maroon Comics, right? He goes, he talks to him, he's like, blah blah blah, what do you think about that? And he kind of does Bob Hoskins does like a thing right here where he kind of, that's like classic, like, I've got a whiskey bottle in my bottom drawer and I'm an alcoholic principal and I'm just kind of like, let me just get it.
Yeah, like as a kid you thought like, oh, like is whiskey thirst quenching?
No,
it's not at all. No, I have whiskey mouth right now. I'm like, oh god, I'm dry. But it makes you think, yeah, like I want that. I got to have that. Now I'm thirsty. Now I'm hungry. But I love the coach. Like the coach is
fantastic,
hilarious, fantastic. I want another movie with him. Obviously, it's 20, 30 year, 35, 33.
That would be 40 next year.
40. So it's 39 years ago. So we're not getting a Finstock.
No,
sequel.
We're not getting a Finstock. And I there was a legacy sequel, not a legacy sequel. There was a sequel that was made for Teen Wolf, but apparently Michael J. Fox, according to what the internet will tell you, did not like this movie and did not want to come back for the sequel. So they did a sequel with Jason Bateman as the Teen Wolf, related to him because it has to be passed on, right?
Right.
But not only could they not get Michael J. Fox to come back, they couldn't even get the Styles to come back.
Yeah.
They only got Harold and they only got Chubby. Which, can I just say one thing about Chubby, who's another character that we kind of mentioned, but we didn't really mention. I love Leprechaun, as we all know. Yep. And in Leprechaun is Ozzy. And Ozzy, the character, is the same actor who plays Chubby's Mark Holton. And it's like, that's his character's name is Chubby. He's accepted it. His name is Chubby. Chubbs, variations of it. I remember when I did join the sophomore team as a junior, I was worried that the uniform would fit me like Chubby, that I would be that guy. And thank God that the uniforms have changed. But man, the uniforms that they were wearing, we didn't even mention that the fact that they're wearing like the short shorts with the very tight tank tops. Why do they have to be that tight?
That was the 80s. I mean, from the 70s.
Yeah. Does it make you shoot better if the uniform is like pasted onto you?
Well, I mean, the NBA now is kind of going back to that, so maybe.
That's very true because everybody's muscular. There's so few of us. What do you think? What do you think, Lance? Did we give Teen Wolf justice? I know I sure enjoyed whatever the hell I just did right now, but that was fun.
I had fun. Did you all have fun? Please let us know in the comments. I had a great time. I think we did it justice. We've kind of covered most of everything, right? Like,
yeah, I think those are the scariest elements of the movie. We talked about his transformation, and we appreciate the effects. We talked about him turning into the wolf multiple times, and when it actually does get scary. I know I certainly can speak for both of us when we invite you all to watch these movies and know, like, I could try to articulate the score here and there, and it's like without hearing it, without seeing it, you won't actually get the full effect. Go in, watch this movie. I believe it's free right now on Tubi or Pluto, one of those. Oh. But these moments are organic in that they need the rest of the story of the movie to be told before you can feel it. So when you do see these scary elements, I think you can decide for yourself if it falls into the annals of, is it a horror movie? Or is it just a comedy movie with some horror elements? I think it kind of tackles every sort of aspect of it.
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned that earlier. I would not call it a horror comedy, but it's not even a dramedy, but it talks a lot about a coming of age. I mean, it is almost like puberty, and I don't know. I don't know what category I really put this in, but it's werewolves, and there is a terrifying factor to the werewolf itself.
Yeah.
So I enjoy this movie. I always feel like this is like the end of summer movie. I don't know if that's when you watch it, but that's like, it's like a September into October movie for me, where we're kind of getting into fall. Surf's up.
I think that's what, and surf's definitely up, Lance. I think that's what that last scene, what I was trying to articulate, I think you nailed it perfectly, is the Sunday Scaries, is the end of something that you were enjoying when the weekend comes to the end, when it comes to the fact that you have to, oh, dang, I actually have to live life, or I have these responsibilities, whether it's work or whatever. Some movies get me there. Real Genius, Breakfast Club, a lot of these movies around this era get that moment for me, and the end of Teen Wolf also does it, especially because, as I mentioned, I was being funny, but I do need to talk about, like, when I was watching these movies, I watched them multiple times, and, like, let me tell you something. If you're young and you convince your parents that you don't want to go to school because you're sick, and you Ferris Bueller them, and you get there and you are watching either Breakfast Club or Teen Wolf, make sure you watch it early in the day, because if you watch it towards the end when your parents are supposed to come home and you're like, dang, I didn't do a damn thing today, and now the fun's over. I think that's what I don't like about this movie the most, is that feeling at the end is like, damn it, I enjoyed it, and now I don't get to enjoy this anymore.
It's a complete film. Like, that's all I can really say about it. There's some sense of reality to it. And you're right. Those movies, we kind of talked about this pre-show, but there are certain movies that you're just like, oh man, like I want that to continue. I want to be in that world. And now it's over, and it's kind of back to the real world. And that is a complete film for me. So I'm happy about it. Danny, you got anything more about Teen Wolf?
Please watch it and enjoy it. And honestly, it's not necessarily about Teen Wolf. It's about us here at the Slashers Paradise hitting our 50th episode. And I think it was perfect that we got here and we did it on this movie, because one of the first things I think that we said a long time ago was between Lance and I was our fondness for this movie. Mm-hmm. And thank you all so much for being here and accompanying us on this journey. A lot more to come. The Slashers Paradise journey and endeavor has only just begun, but here we are in our 50th, celebrating it with a movie that we both hold dear to ourselves. And thank you all so much for helping us shoot for the moon and win in the end.
Truly. All right, Daddy, how many basketballs do you give Teen Wolf?
5 basketballs. Why? Because I don't give a shit. It's a movie that I love, and I will always call it an amazing, absolute amazing movie. Came out in 1985, the year I was born. Kiss my ass.
I give it a 5 as well. I think, like I said earlier, we are educating a lot of people about this movie, because I never hear about it. I think it was something me and my brother really enjoyed, and now Danny's probably the first person I've had since my brother to come along and understand the movie. We talk about it. I think it was one that maybe I threw out or you threw out. Like, have you seen Teen Wolf? And we're like, oh my God, we're going to be best friends. This is amazing. So
That's right.
Please go watch Teen Wolf wherever you can. Buy it if you have to. I think it's like $15 right now. It's worth every penny. Until next time, that's Danny. I'm Lance, reminding you to
lock your doors,
bolt your windows.
And what are you looking at, Dick Nose?
And join us next time in our Slashers Paradise.
Big Brother always keeps a stash. Hey, did you see anything you like?
Thanks for watching Slashers Paradise tonight. Please hit the like and subscribe button and turn on all of your notifications so you know the next time we post a video or go live.
And if you'd like an audio-only version of the show, search for us on wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it. We're on all the platforms. We just ask that you leave a rate and review of 5 stars. And if you don't know what to write in the review section, put a recommendation of a horror movie you would love for Lance and I to talk about.
Yes, and if you'd like to get the full experience of Slashers Paradise, including videos and audio all together, go to deadcandy.com, that's DEDCANDY, or go to youtube.com/deadcandy. Here's to you guys.
This is Slashers Paradise! Sorry, I had to work that in.
And I'm going to drink on that.
Blended Canadian.